Hey everyone, Theo here. Today I'm reviewing the Alldocube ULTRA Pad, a 13-inch Android 15 tablet released on September 10, 2025. First of all, disclaimer, this is a review unit provided by the company, and in this video I'll just present to you my findings so that you can decide whether this is worth the money. And during the launch promotion from September 10 to 25, the price of this tablet is going to be US $300 on AliExpress. And I'm not sure why it's listed as $343 here. So there is a bundle with the keyboard included, and that is extra $30. By the way, if you guys are interested to buy this tablet, consider making your purchase through the affiliate links that I have in the video description below to support my YouTube channel. Alright, bottom line up front, this is considered a budget tablet and it has pretty good hardware. So it comes with the Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 3 processor, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage with a micro SD card slot here at the top, but there is no cellular support, unfortunately. The LCD looks bright, vibrant and sharp, and auto brightness works well. Colors look terrific out of the box. Refresh rate of this display is up to 144 Hz. This tablet has 8 speakers and audio quality is satisfactory. There is good clarity, decent amount of surround, but bass is lacking, which is not surprising. This USB-C port has USB 3.1 Gen 2 transfer speed and can output video, but only with mirror mode. This tablet is responsive. Apps can load fast, web pages can load very quickly, and of course with gaming there will be no issues. This game is Genshin Impact and I can play this game at medium graphics settings, which is the third graphics settings out of the 5. And this is actually pretty good considering the resolution of the display, which is 2880 by 1840. So you can expect good visuals, and it's not too pixelated either. Yeah, this is actually pretty sharp. So the gaming experience is quite good, affected only by the weight of the tablet, which is 700 grams. This tablet runs on Android 15 and there is official support for Google Play Store. This tablet actually has pen support, but the pen uses USI technology, so the pen accuracy is not that good. It can be used for writing, but for drawing, there is the diagonal line wobble and jitter. There is palm rejection, but as you can see, it doesn't work that well with the unintentional undos. Let's talk about downsides, and I need to refer to my text review because there are a few. Oh, I forgot to mention this tablet has Wi-Fi L1. So there is no cellular option, there is no biometric unlock, so there is no face unlock, no fingerprint scanner. The task switcher or the app switcher does not have grid view, so when you swipe up to switch to other apps, you can only see 1, 2, 3 apps. You can't see more because there is no grid view like this. There is no 3.5mm audio jack, which is quite common nowadays. Don't expect Android OS updates in the future. There is this 2-finger swipe to split screen, and this can interfere with certain apps. So some of the drawing apps that I use, when I try to pan like this or move, it would actually split the screen while I'm drawing. So you have to disable that feature from the settings. So those are the main pros and cons. The Alldocube ULTRA Pad to me is a pretty good multimedia tablet that's great for watching shows and gaming. The display looks good, the sound is good, the overall performance is responsive. Now there are some downsides and limitations, and that's not surprising considering the price point, so those are the compromises. Alright, so now let's move on to the full review. Let's take a look at the items included with the purchase. This is how the packaging box looks. So this tablet comes with the Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 3 processor, the same processor that's used in the Alldocube iPlay 70 Mini Ultra that I reviewed a few weeks ago, which is the 8.8-inch tablet. These are the specifications. These are the items in the box besides the tablet. That's the SIM ejector, a USB-C to USB-C charging cable, a 33-watt USB-C charger, and this quick start guide. There's a flip case included with a pen holder. This is one of those slim magnetic flip cases where you can attach the tablet easily and you can remove the tablet easily as well. The tablet can be propped up this way, and this is made with PU leather. It's quite smooth. There is an optional keyboard case that seems to come with a kickstand, and this is an extra US $30, which you can buy on AliExpress. There is an optional pen that's made for the tablet, and this is US $30 as well. This pen can snap to the side of the tablet, but this is not for charging or Bluetooth pairing. This is just for keeping the pen by the tablet. I will talk more about this pen later when I talk about the writing and drawing experience. Let's take a closer look at the design of this tablet, which looks good. There are rounded corners for the body and LCD. There's a landscape camera here with auto brightness, which thankfully works quite well, but there is no face unlock. The bezels are quite thin, and this tablet actually comes with a screen protector already applied. On this side, we have the power button. There is no fingerprint scanner, the volume buttons, the pen attachment area, and this is the micro SD card slot. There are 8 speakers with decent audio quality. There is good clarity, some surround, bass is lacking, which is not surprising. This supports 33-watt charging and has USB 3.1 Gen 2 transfer speed and can output video. When the tablet is connected to an external display, you only get mirror mode, and whether the tablet can power the external display will depend on how much power the external display uses. Now, for some reason, there are black bars at the left and right side of this display, even though the aspect ratio of this display is the same as the tablet, which is 16:10. So the icons actually look squashed here, and there is no way to adjust the resolution or aspect ratio on the external display using the tablet. If you connect the tablet to a display that is 16:9, there will be black bars on the left and right side. And this tablet does not have PC mode or the desktop mode. And here are the pogo pin connectors for the optional keyboard case. The thickness of this tablet is 7.6 mm, which is considered thick compared to other tablets. Alldocube is using the extra space to fit a 15,000 mAh battery inside. On the back, there is a 13 megapixel camera with a flash. The camera in front is 5 megapixel, and this is matte textured metal. The Alldocube logo here is shiny. The quality of this LCD looks good. The colors look terrific out of the box. The maximum brightness is up to 700 nits. Typical brightness is 600 nits. Viewing angle, as you can see, is pretty good with minimal drop in brightness and minimal shift with the colors, and the auto rotation works very fast. Visuals are sharp with no pixelation noticeable. The resolution is 2880 by 1840, aspect ratio is 16:10. And the refresh rate is up to 144 Hz, but it's not adaptive, so you can choose between 60, 120 or 144 Hz. And with such high refresh rate, when you are scrolling web pages, the animation is really smooth. When you zoom in and out, the animation is really smooth, and when you swipe up, scroll through the apps, all the animation will look smooth, and that really makes this tablet feel very responsive. This is a big display for reading comics, and the text is big enough for comfortable reading. And because the colors look so good, the reading experience is good. Let's talk about the performance. So this tablet is using the Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 3 processor, which is actually quite powerful. And I have reviewed many budget Android tablets with the Helio G99 processors, and this Snapdragon processor is noticeably more powerful. So you can run around without any lag, there are no drop frames, and the resolution is actually quite high. If I zoom in, I can see the visuals are still quite sharp. compared to, well, tablets that are using lousier processors and also lower resolution. So with this tablet, you can actually play games, even graphics intensive games at higher resolution and still have pretty decent performance. Apps are able to launch pretty quickly and the download speed is faster than I expected. The download speed is actually as fast as the M4 iPad Pro that I have. This tablet has 12 gigs of RAM and you can increase the virtual RAM to 12 gigs. 12 gigs of RAM by default is more than sufficient for most users, so you can open many apps and have the apps retained in memory. And when you open an app from a long time ago, the app is not going to reload. It rarely reloads, so that's a nice thing to have. I don't like this view where I have to swipe so much to find the app that I want, because there is no grid view for the app switcher. So when I switch apps, I would usually just go to the home screen and load the app or open the app again. Let's talk about the OS and software, and I have to refer to my text review because there is a lot to cover. So this tablet runs on Android 15 and there is Google Play Store, and when I set up the tablet for the first time, I did not notice any bloatware, which is nice. The UI that's running on top of Android 15 is Alldocube OS version 4.1. One downside for this tablet is there is no guarantee you will get future updates for Android OS. Alldocube OS does not have many features. For example, the one that I showed you earlier, the app switcher, it does not have the grid view. And when you go into display, look at screen refresh, there is no adaptive refresh, so you can choose either 60, 120 or 144 Hz. No adaptive refresh rate is not an issue here because the battery capacity is huge. Now, under featured functions is where you may find more useful features. So there is split screen mode, and you can swipe down with 2 fingers in the middle of the tablet to split screen. But I have disabled this because when you are using drawing or note-taking apps, sometimes when you use 2 fingers to pan or move the canvas, it would split the screen when you do not want to split the screen. So I have that disabled. There is the smart sidebar where you can swipe here, hold for a few seconds, and then you can get additional shortcuts here which you can add. There is this feature called landscape display, which is supposed to help you display landscape mode when the applications are in landscape. But this works a bit randomly. For example, if I open AliExpress, which is a vertical app, when I'm holding the tablet in landscape orientation, you can see the layout is wrong. If I turn the tablet or rotate the tablet, now the layout looks correct. It's more usable. Let me show you another app, Shopee. So again, the layout is wrong. I have to rotate the app like this. Now let's see what happens if I disable that feature. So let's open AliExpress again, and now you get a vertical app when holding the tablet in landscape orientation, and this is actually usable. If I open Shopee, this app did not rotate. So sometimes the app would rotate, sometimes they do not rotate. Another downside is the dock can only fit 6 apps here and 1 recent app. So even though there is a lot of space at the bottom, you cannot add more shortcuts to the dock. Another downside with the software is to get web pages to display properly, you have to tweak or adjust the UI scaling and the font size. For example, when loading this web page, there is this 2-column layout, and this pretty much just looks like a phone layout, except it's zoomed in. So by right, I should see 2 columns of stories, but there is only 1 column because this is designed for phone, even though this is supposed to be in desktop mode right now. So you have to go into the settings here to adjust the display size. Let me just make everything bigger and see what happens. Did it just crash? No. Okay, so now you can see this picture is smaller. There is padding on the left and right. And now we have the stories in this 2-column view. Okay, now if I turn it, it's still in 1 column. But it's better than earlier because now I can actually see like more content. Whereas earlier, this is the view that you see. But now you can see this view plus some stories at the bottom. You can actually see more content. Let's talk about the pen writing and drawing experience. So this pen is sold separately for US $30. And this pen uses USI technology. So it supports tilt sensitivity, pressure sensitivity, and palm rejection. But unfortunately, tilt, pressure, and palm rejection do not work well. There is an internal battery, so charging is required. The USB-C charging port is here. If you do not use the pen often, you should still charge the pen, I would say at least once a month, so that the small battery inside will not deteriorate. There are 2 side buttons which may be customizable depending on which app you use. And this is the front. The pen tip is quite firm and has no movement. There are no replacement pen tips in the box, and I'm not sure where to find replacement pen tips online. I don't think you need to worry too much about replacing the pen tip because the pen tip is quite smooth on the glass surface, actually on the screen protector, so this is quite unlikely to wear out that fast. Let's test the pen performance. So this app that I'm using is Medibank. Oops. Notice the unintentional movement. Wow, this is notice the unintentional undo. So this is very difficult to use because palm rejection does not work well. I have actually enabled palm rejection here in the settings, but it doesn't work well. So I have to disable double finger tap to undo as well. So let's try again. And now I can write without the unintentional undo, but sometimes when I'm writing, there is the movement with the canvas because the double finger is also used to pen zoom and rotate, and that will interfere with, notice, oops, accidentally closed that. So it's actually quite frustrating to work with a pen that uses USI pen tag. Yeah, and also pressure doesn't work that well. Let me try and draw some thick lines first and thin lines. Okay, you can see it's quite difficult to maintain consistent pressure to get the uniform line width, and if I use minimal pressure, the line would break. Let's look at tapered strokes. The lines do not taper smoothly and sharply. There is just one line here that tapers sharply, but it's a very abrupt taper, so this does not look natural at all. Let's look at the transition from thin to thick and back to thin and thick and thin. So again, there is the issue with pressure variance. And this is also a diagonal line, and I can see slight diagonal line wobble and jitter. But the main issue here is the pressure variance that prevents you from drawing smooth, consistent line width. Let's draw the slow diagonal line. This line is actually, I would say, straight enough. It's just that the pressure variance, it's just not good at all. Let's draw some dots. Seems fine. Next, let's draw some separate lines and try to join the lines together. So again, I have the, well, notice the line did not appear. See? Yeah, sometimes the line just doesn't appear for whatever reason. So when drawing, I try not to have my hand on the display, which will accidentally move the canvas. So I can actually draw separate lines like this and join the lines without gaps or overshooting. But as you can see, the lines are just too too thick and they are uniform. So with this pen, it's actually quite difficult to draw lines with character that are lines which are thin and thick. Now you have to make a very conscious effort to draw tapered lines. And you cannot draw tapered lines like this. You have to use pressure to draw tapered lines. And tapered lines like this do not look good at all. This app is Infinite Painter, and let's take a look at the diagonal lines. So let's zoom in and you can see very noticeable diagonal line wobble. And I'm going to switch over to using a pen that reacts with tilt. So let's go with Coarse Inker. Yep, tilt does not work. Is it because I disabled tilt here in the settings? No, tilt is enabled. So with this brush, when I tilt the pen, I'm supposed to get the dry brush effect, but you can see that when I use the pen vertically versus when the pen is tilted at an angle, the lines look the same. So tilt does not work. This app is called Concepts. And I have to go into the settings here. You know what, let me test tilt. Okay, tilt does not work. Anyway, I have to go into the settings here under interaction to disable the double tap undo because palm rejection doesn't work well. So when I disable the double tap undo, it also means I have to use the soft keys here to undo if I need to undo. Okay, let me just try and draw something quickly. So this app is actually quite forgiving in the sense that if you use a pen that is lousy, you can still draw with the pen. So the main issue with the drawing experience is palm rejection does not work well. So if I place my palm on the display, you see, I want to undo but I cannot because I have disabled undo. And now I want to draw with thinner lines. Let me just, yeah. So I have to make a very conscious effort to draw with thinner lines to get the thinner lines. Otherwise, the lines will be quite thick. So this pen is not that sensitive. And without the double tap undo, I have to use the soft key. So I have to relearn the muscle memory. Okay, here I wanted to get the lines to taper, but it's difficult because, as you saw earlier, the lines cannot taper. So it's very difficult to draw with this pen with accuracy, just because the pen does not have accuracy. It is possible to draw, but the drawing experience is, well, it's very challenging. Oops, let me just undo. I cannot, I have to use the soft key. Another thing that you may not notice is the UI for this app is actually very big. The tool wheel here is big, the layers are big, when in fact they should be small. Okay, let's fill this with color. Yeah, so drawing is actually possible. Drawing is certainly possible. It's just that you have to make a very conscious effort to control your line weight, the pressure, and tilt, which in this case doesn't work well, so you don't have to bother about tilt. But you have to make a very conscious effort to control the line, control the pressure, the pen. It is very difficult. So most of the time you are actually trying to work around the limitations of the pen rather than drawing. Yeah, but for quick and casual sketches, I would say it is possible. Let's look at writing on the Alldocube tablet, Ultra Pad. And writing actually works better than drawing. With certain writing apps, you can actually enable palm rejection, which will work better compared to palm rejection from drawing apps. So let's, you know what, let's have my hand on the display and write. Oops, That's the unintentional movement. Okay, my handwriting is actually captured quite nicely here, but it's not as good compared to drawing or writing on other tablets. But this is actually still very usable. Next, let's try writing on an actual note-taking app, and it actually works fine. I don't think I can recommend this pen for drawing, but for writing, it's actually still usable. So you can use this pen to do some markup, to sign documents. The last thing I want to talk about is battery life. I can tell you the battery capacity is 15,000 mAh, which is about 1.5 times larger compared to other tablets with similar display size. So the battery is huge. But I cannot give you a definite number to the battery life because I did not test the tablet intensively to test the battery life. Anyway, from my past few days of usage, the battery life is easily 2 days if you use the tablet intensively for the 2 days. So the battery life is really good, which is to be expected from a huge battery. Alright, to conclude, as mentioned in the bottom line, this tablet is great as a multimedia tablet for watching shows and playing games. The display quality is better than expected. The display looks good, audio is good, performance is responsive. So the main downsides are actually related to software, more specifically the lack of convenience with the lack of features or with some of the software features that are not working as well. So yeah, good hardware, so-so software, but you don't really have to worry too much about software. Software issues are not deal breakers. Okay, so the pricing of US $299 in my opinion is quite reasonable for a tablet like this. And thanks to the Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 3 processor, I would expect this tablet to last for many years. Okay, so if you guys are interested to buy this tablet, you can check out the purchase links that I have for you in the video description below. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Bye.